Hi, I'm Mike, and you're watching Spiritual Combat. And today, what we're talking about, um, I'm answering a relationship question. It's gonna, my answer should pull a couple different aspects together, but one of the viewers wrote me, and they were asking, and this is one of the worries and one of the questions I had myself. When I was single. And um, basically, what his question is, he says, let's see, he's saying he doesn't really have a problem approaching women, but he used to do it at parties, and now, you know, he wants to find a godly woman that lines up with the word. And he's wanting to know what I like to tell him how I met my wife. He says he goes to a small church, but there's basically no women there that he's attracted to, or not very many women. Um, and then he's just saying he feels real limited. He feels like it's harder to meet a good Christian woman. Uh, and he's asking. He's been thinking about attending church events, but he's saying he's kind of scared of the unknown. He says, "Thanks for your help." So yeah, and I know where he's coming from, because it's like now you're going to church, you feel real limited with who you can meet, and and it's like you almost feel hopeless. You're gonna meet the right one, and now he asked me to tell how I met my wife. Well, when I met my wife, I wasn't saved, or I wasn't walking in the Word. I was still out there drinking and hanging out in bad places, or places where I wouldn't recommend anybody hanging out. You know, I met her at a lounge though. It's like an upscale lounge, but even then, it's kind of questionable. I don't believe in that whole nightlife. Now, back to what I've talked about in my other videos. People always ask, women ask and men ask, well, where do I meet somebody? Should I go to one of these dating things, or this, that, and the other, to like one of these dating events, networking events? And I adamantly say no. The way to meet that woman, or if you're a woman, the way to meet that man is in your normal day to day activities. I mean, think about all the people you come across day to day. You know, between work, or say you go somewhere for lunch at work and you pass all these people, and then get in the grocery store and you come across all these people, and then you might have to run over here to do something to, you know you're coming across a ton of people in your day-to-day activity, but you're just in this, you're in your little narrow, world, and that's why people don't meet anybody. Now, when you're like I said in my other videos, you need to make an effort to say something to everybody. You need to become a social person, and you're gonna meet people. You're gonna meet all types of people. You're gonna build your social following, and then that, and you won't even be looking for that woman to be in a relationship with, and you will come right across her. Because I don't care if you're going to church to meet a woman, to find that right woman. I don't care where you're going. If you don't know how to discern a woman's spirit, and how to, if you're not good at knowing, hey, and spotting the signs of, hey, this person is bad relationship material, this, that, and the other, then I mean, you know, it's not gonna work. You're gonna meet the wrong one again. You gotta get out there, socialize, and just be around people, and get to the point where you can spot the bad from the good. Um, and get good at doing it. And like I said, this stuff is in a. I have a bunch of videos on this. Check out my other relationship videos. But yeah. And basically, what I'm saying, the first thing you have to develop is your social skills to where you're just comfortable talking to everybody, and you need to get out and do that. Talk to everybody. And the benefits to that are you're gonna be a more well connected person. Um, you know, you can help people. People could help you. There's just a ton of good um, results of being social and not being into yourself. And you'll get you'll meet all these people. You'll have all these people you talk to on a daily basis or whatever, and then somebody be like, "Hey, hey, Mike, I'm having a cookout at my house on Sunday. Want to know if you could come by if you want." Oh, okay. And you go by the cookout, and you're out there socializing, talking, being social, being nice to everybody, and lo and behold, hey, a woman comes across that interests you, and you're not up there trying to put on this game and this, hey, hey, girl, how you doing, and talk to her some different way. You're just gonna talk to her just like you talk to all the other people you've been talking to now, day in and day out, every time you come across a person. So, I mean, but yeah, so I mean that's how it works. You build that big social network. Now, for me, what I noticed when I was being super social and networking and talking to everybody, like uh, when when I got when I was at like one of my highest levels, I was out there talking to everybody. The district attorney which invited me to her party at her place. And when I got to her place, I got there. Well, a lot of people who were at the party knew me, so I'm talking to all the people there. And I noticed a woman, and this is before I got married and everything. But I noticed a woman who was interested in me, and I caught her interest because everybody's coming up to me talking, laughing, everything like that. And then she approaches me and says, "Hey, so who are you? You seem to be having a lot of fun." "Hey, I'm just blah, blah, blah." And I just go right into being my normal self because I'm already like all primed and warmed up. And like it's just the normal thing for me to just be socializing, just talking to everybody. So naturally, I just went into it with her, talking to her, you know. And yeah, and I talk to her just like, even though I'm interested in her, I talk to her just like I talk to everybody else, you know. And yeah, it's just but it's something you're gonna pick up on once you start doing it. But even then, even before that, because this gentleman, he's asking, um, he's wondering about meeting women and this, that, and other. You got to get in the Word, get in that Bible, watch a bunch of these videos, and look at what I tell you to study in the Bible, or study it for yourself or whatever. But you need to study up on what you need to be looking for in these women first before you run out there trying to meet them, because that could be a huge disaster if you put the cart before the horse. I mean, like me, before I went out there and really started messing with women, I I had studied, studied, studied. Now I had studied for years. I think it was like 2 years, just hardcore studying. And because I lived in a rural area where there weren't a lot of women around, I was just doing more studying than actually going out meeting women. And then when I finally moved to the big city, it just took off. And I was already a pretty advanced person when it came to socializing and relationships with women and everything like that. So and I didn't and I'm telling you this also, I didn't do that the healthy way of studying the word. I've eventually came to the word and realized that was the ultimate truth. I was I was working on with half truths, and I was still making mistakes. But this is the whole truth. I mean, get out there, be social. You don't have to. The worst place you could go is nightclubs and all that to be out socializing. You just go out to, when you're at work, talk and build relationships with people. When you're at the grocery store, when you're wherever, and you're coming across people, hey, try to talk to them, try to show yourself nice, and put yourself out there in the social, whatever you want to call it, the social soup or whatever that's called, But just put yourself out there, de- develop your social muscles, um, and you'll be able to read people better, read their attitudes, read their personalities. Your mind will naturally pick up on that and get good at it. But first, study the word. Know what's good, what's bad. What are bad qualities in a woman? What are good qualities in a woman? You know, how do they display? Because a lot of these women, you know, like some of these women, you could just look at them and pick up just by their movements and how their whole persona or whatever you want to call it, that they're whores, they're whorish. They got a freaky sexual spirit or something that wouldn't be too good. You could just pick up you'll be shocked at all the stuff you'll just be able to discern just by looking at them, what's going on with them. But that's why I say you need to study the word first and study what the Bible says a good woman is and what the Bible says a bad woman is. Now, the other thing is these churches. Be careful with a lot of these churches. Like, a lot of these churches aren't teaching you the word. See, what I'm telling you right now, a good church would be telling you. A good church would teach women, they'd read those verses where the woman needs to respect the man. The Bible tells a woman to reverence the man, hold him in high esteem. Well, that's laughable in this society now. That's totally upside down. It's the exact opposite. Men reverence women now. They hold them on a pedestal and all that. You see, that's why you need to be real careful with these churches, because you go to these churches and the women have been empowered to be dominant over you and all that stuff like that. Then you get in a relationship with them and it's almost 100% guaranteed to go down the drain. And I'm telling you, that's the majority of these churches. I went to church my whole life, and these I didn't learn any of this. I had to go out and learn it from the world, and then find real, true biblical teachers. When I realized what the world was teaching was half truths, I realized God was a real way. But I got under real, true Bible teachers who weren't trying to make people feel good and feel happy. They were telling the real truth. So yeah, you be careful with these churches. Like, majority of churches are the worst place in the world to meet these women. There's a lot of wicked stuff going on in these churches. You got to know what's in the Bible, what the Bible says about a woman, and then see if that church lines up with it. And if it does, and the church is teaching a man to be a man, and it's teaching a woman to respect the man and be respectful to the man and all that stuff, then it's that's a good church to go to. You'll meet a good woman. But on the same note, if you're studied up in this word and really walking in it, and you got a solid understanding of relationships and all that stuff like that, and the role God gives the woman and the role God gives the man, and you got a solid understanding of that, and you go out here, wherever you're at, and you just socialize and talk to the people around you, when the right one comes along, you'll pick up on it. You'll see it. You'll see the qualities in her. Okay? You'll see that she's respectful to me. She respects me. She's like, you'll see it in their countenance, like in their persona, where they're like, oh, okay. They're respectful to you. I don't know how to put it in words, but you'll pick up on it when it happens. Now, the biggest, most important thing of all is, again, pray, fast, seek the Lord. You need to be praying. You need to be praying and seeking the Lord on this thing. You need to, Lord, I want a woman. I don't want to sit here burning with lust and this, that, and other. I want a woman I can know and love that completes me. That a biblical woman. And seek the Lord on that, because truth be told, like even me looking back on how I met my wife, I know God was behind it. There's no way it could have happened any other way. Like I would have never met her any other way. I know God was behind it. The world would call it chance. It was all by chance. But God is gonna, put you, down with her. But you got to do the work on your end. You you can't you can't expect to just sit there surfing porn, whacking off to internet porn day in and day out. Like, oh God, can you bring me a girl so I can stop whacking off? No, you gotta do the stuff on your end. You gotta put in your work. You gotta get your mind right. You gotta overcome lust and those emotions that take over you. That you have to do the work on your part and empower yourself, and God will give the increase. You know what I'm saying? He'll do the part on his end, but you gotta meet him halfway. You ain't gonna just sit there and like a lot of these churches tell you, oh, you just gotta let go and let God. Yeah, okay. And how's that working for you? Those are all them people are broke or whatever they wishing for ain't happening. That's just some feel good stuff these churches tell you. So yeah, you got to get in the Word. Um, a lot of my videos quote Bible verses where it talks about women. I'm gonna do another one either today or sometime this week. That's gonna really be getting into. It's gonna quote some strong Bible verses about women to give you more edification on that. But yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, that's how it works. But yeah, the two biggest things are, of course, pray. Pray about it. Pray fast. Seek the Lord. Get your mind right. Get strong, and get independent. And then the other thing is, get out there and be social, and don't be social because hey, I want to talk to this girl. Build a social network. Build a bunch of good friends. Build people you could talk to wherever you go. Just you know chit chat. Whatever. If you're sitting at a coffee place having coffee, hey, how you doing? When you talking to the cashier, hey, how you doing? So it's been busy in here today. Oh no, it's not that busy. Oh, okay. Because I don't like being around here when show yourself to be friendly. You'd be shocked at what what happens. A friend of mine at the gym, a matter of fact, was telling me about how there was a woman he worked with. I forgot. I think he worked with her. Okay, I think the woman was his supervisor, or whatever. But anyway, he really wasn't. He talked to her a little bit, but he said one day he invited her out to a NFL football game, and he said he invited her and her husband out, and him and his wife went out to the football game, and he was telling me how they went out to the football game, and he just being social, having a good time, just talking. And he said after that woman, she really appreciated that because you never know what's going on in other people's lives. It probably, who knows, it might have helped their marriage or whatever. But anyway, this woman wound up getting promoted to some high position. And my friend who was telling me about that this happened to, he's like a computer consultant or something, and he works by contracts, and he got laid off that contract. Well, she found out he gave him an even like bigger, better contract, and he just went on to tell me how he benefited from that, and he wasn't even trying to do that. He was just, being cool, being social. She was a good supervisor, so he said, "Hey, you want to go to this football game? Bring your husband out, this, that, and the other," and just being social, being out there, being open. You never know where that's going to lead to. Um, but yeah, and then the other thing, like I remember when I used to, when I used to go places, wherever I go, I see people I know, and I go in, I be talking to everybody, and then people who didn't even know me would just see how, man, everybody's going up to this guy and talking to this guy. Women would see it. Hey, who is this guy? And they just come up and talk to me just to see who I was. And I'm like, I ain't nobody. I just like talking to everybody. And then I start talking to them and asking them about themselves. But but yeah, that's how it works. We're social creatures, but I wouldn't advise you to just jump out there and start doing that. You need to get in the word and make sure you got a biblical understanding of what you need to know, so you have spiritual discernment, so you could discern people's spirit, because there's some people who you don't need to mess with. There's some people you should run from. There's some girls that are going to be smoking hot, look perfect, just everything pleasing, giving you the naughty tingles. You can't think straight because you're so horny. But when you discern their spirit, you're like, "Ooh, she is bad news. She could," and you need to know that, because what I'm telling you, some of the stuff I'm telling you, and where I'm trying to get you to get to, it's almost like trying to teach a fish how to ride a bike. And I'm telling the fish, "Hey, you're wet. You're in water." And you're like, "What's water?" It's like that big disconnect. So that's why I keep stressing, get in the Word, study the Bible. You know, I was joking with my wife, like, do a sabbatical where you just separate from society for a while and just study the Word and get your mind right, then reinsert yourself back in society, with your biblical eyes. You know what I'm saying? So you could discern stuff, so you're not stepping on mines, blowing yourself up. Study the map of the minefield, so you know where the mines are planted, so you don't blow yourself up. And the map of the minefield is the Word of God, is that Bible. So that's what you gotta do. Doesn't sound fun, doesn't sound exciting, but trust me, once you get that big understanding, once you remove yourself a little for a short period from society, get deep in that Word, fill yourself up, put on that different set of eyes, then go back into society, like Neo going back in the Matrix. Then you're seeing everything. You're seeing the Matrix, around you. But anyway, I hope this video was informative. If you appreciate these teachings, share them. That's the best gift you could give. And check out some of my other videos on my channel. And my name is Mike, and have a nice day.